What is up, y'all? Today, I'm going to teach you about the Alpha Recovery Shake. This is by far the single greatest post-workout shake mankind has ever seen, guaranteed to make you 1,000 times more anabolic than you've ever been before in your life. That's a load of garbage. Even the name's clickbait. That just seems like a name the kids would be into now. This is the Alpha Recovery Shake. Did it work? You're here? Sorry if it's a clickbait, but I promise if I clickbaited you and you stick around and listen, you might actually like what you hear. So if you're new here, I recommend watching the first video in this series. This is my rebuild series. This is number 3. I'm still able to keep track of what number we're on. That will not last long. Why is it the rebuild? I've got some stuff going on, some unique life stuff, working through some pericarditis. As a result of it, I've had to really modify my training, even make a lot of changes to my diet, my nutrition. I even say this more so with diet nutrition. This video is based on what I do. I'm not making any medical advice. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm not a nutritionist, not a dietitian. I kind of steer clear of most of this stuff because y'all are crazy about it. I am qualified to prescribe exercise, to coach exercise, to teach exercise. 100% comfortable with all that, even though you guys are emotional about that as well too. But this is more so a video because so many of you guys wanted to see it. So this is where I'm at. I'm using this and taking all this stuff first and foremost for me. All that being said, after I kind of talk about me, I'll talk about you. So I'll talk about how this stuff can probably help some of you guys and tie that in as well with some of the mistakes I've made in the past. So again, if you didn't watch that video yet, I highly recommend you watch it. But I have a very I say unique experience in the industry for how long I've been doing this professionally, my level of education, again, just how much time and effort I put into this, how high of a level I've competed at, and how high of a caliber of athlete that I have worked with as well too. And also just working with normal people and 90-year-olds and again, Mr. and Miss Olympia. I've got a unique perspective. So hopefully that's really where these videos are. And the kind of the stem from it was, yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about my stuff because I'm doing stuff so different than before. But we'll tie it in and hopefully help you guys. Again, with nothing else, I'm not saying I'm smart or anything, but I definitely have a unique perspective. I've definitely got some unique work experience and experience in the industry where I can hopefully relate a little something with everybody. So what's the point of this whole shake? And I've got all this junk out here. There's probably some neater way to organize it, but hey, you get what you get. And I'm actually going to make it in front of you because if I don't make it in front of you, did I plug in the blender? I didn't plug in the blender. Somebody's going to ask, how do you plug in a blender? Can you see that? You're not going to see it. I'm still going to do it anyway. I plugged in the blender. I'll do a separate blender plugging in tutorial video since that was out of the frame. And my camera guy right now is called a tripod. So that's why I didn't go down there. But anyway, I wanted to show this so people will be like, how did you get the things in the blender? If you don't film me taking the lid off the blender and putting things in, people will be confused. Kind of being a jerk, but serious though. So I figured I'd make it in front of you guys so we have less questions. And I'll go through the ingredients as I go through them, talk about why I use some of the stuff. And again, if you want to do your own research, I highly recommend it because I'm not going to PubMed everything down below. I'll say what I say, who I heard it from. Sometimes it's like, hey, this is this person that I trust is super smart. This is where I'm going for this. But basically, this is a bunch of stuff where you don't have to do too much research, where I'm very comfortable saying it's good for you. Unless you're allergic to some of this stuff, then it's probably not good for you. And a lot of this stuff has evidence that it reduces inflammation. And that's a big thing that I'm trying to do right now. So again, for me, one of my main goals is just to do things that seemingly are good for reducing inflammation. I'm not opposed to doing things with medicine, and I have I have great doctors. I'm working with them. I'm doing all the stuff I'm supposed to do. But I'm also making some adjustments to my diet. I'm also eating, aside from lower inflammation, I'm also eating lower histamine. Again, that's something very specific to me. I have a brilliant, I won't mention his name because I didn't ask if I could, but basically family friend, works at the Mayo Clinic, PhD, and has a lot of people that are working through similar stuff that I do. And he's basically talking about some of the things that, even though there's not this huge, compelling clinical evidence yet, he said we have a lot of patients doing this lower histamine thing or whatever it is, and we're showing that people are recovering faster and stuff like that. So again, a lot of this stuff is things that I'm choosing to do. Take and do with it what you will. So I am doing a first ingredient here is tart cherry juice. So again, I like this brand. I'm not sponsored by them. If Lakewood feels like sponsoring me, that would save me a whole lot of money every single month because it's organic. Someone's going to ask me about the organic. I think organic is slightly healthier, maybe, than not organic. My thought process with organic is when people were making pesticides and fertilizers, they probably didn't think right away, how is this going to impact our health maybe 50 years down the road? And it's possible there's some things in there that, again, even though if we tried to show in a study these very small amounts, not really that big of a deal, we don't know really how it's going to affect us 50 years down the road. That being said, there's probably 1,000 things more important before you do organic stuff. So again, if you're watching this, don't. The only reason that I do all organic stuff is because I don't have a Ferrari in my garage. I drive a minivan. I spend money on my kids. I spend money on almost nothing on myself because I work out and like taking care of my kids. So for me, it's not a big deal for me to spend some of my money on organic. I think maybe it's slightly healthier, but not really a big deal. And just the kind of common sense of, I feel like we didn't have some of this stuff on our food maybe 200 years ago. Now, again, there's a lot of great reasons for me as a side tangent. I get why we have fertilizers and pesticides because now people aren't starving to death as normally as they maybe were 200 years ago or as regularly. So it's good. But anyway, that's just the whole thing where people will go nuts about everything this day and age. So that's my little organic disclaimer. I have a lot of organic stuff here. Not a big deal. But if you're like me, you don't have anything else to spend your money on. I don't drink. I don't go out. So I'm going to spend it on organic. You can think I'm an idiot. I'm fine with that. So if I was pre-contest, if I was competing, I would absolutely measure and weigh absolutely everything. You'll see I measure some stuff, eyeball some stuff. So I start with 8 ounces of organic tart cherry juice. Right here is this little 1 cup measure on here, eyeballing it, boom, 8 ounces. If you want to add up the macros, I have done this at some point in time. But again, you don't really need to know your macros if you eat the exact same things every single day and know how to make adjustments from there. Why tart, man. I would retake, but I'm not going to retake. You guys get what you pay for. So tart cherry, if you do it, you can actually research this, and there's some research that shows this is good for reducing certain inflammation markers that may help with recovery, help with performance. So tart cherry. What order am I going to go in from here? Oh yeah, we'll do these. We'll get these out of the way. Next, I do turmeric. So this is just turmeric root from the grocery store. You can just buy it. It looks like this. People don't know what it is, and I weigh it. So again, I figured I'd show the weighing because someone's going to say, how do you weigh it or whatever. If you don't know how to zero something on top of a scale, we've got bigger issues. So I do about 50 grams of turmeric root. Am I saying it wrong? I don't know things. I don't know about cooking. So if someone's going to say anything about culinary skills or whatever and you want to criticize it, you came to the wrong place. I do 50 grams of that. Why 50? Seems like a healthy amount, right? Probably healthier than 40 grams of it. I don't know. It's probably actually research that shows like 40 grams is the perfect amount. 50 grams is toxic, and someone's going to tag me below. So if there's that research out there, let me know. But yeah, 50 grams, I don't know. Seems like a good amount. Then I put ginger root in there. So this is ginger root. And I put about 20 to 25 grams in there. Why? I don't know if spicy is the right word. Again, some culinary person can tell me, but ginger's got some kick. It's spicy. It's got some stuff going on. So if I put too much in there, this just like basically burns my face off. So why ginger? Why turmeric? There is a ton of research showing that they are also good for a whole host of things. Ginger, you're going to have some stuff with digestion and things like that as well too, but just inflammation. These things seem to be pretty good at reducing inflammation. If you want to research some more, have at it. If you don't think the research is that compelling, don't put them in your shake. There we go. Hopefully you won't argue, man, I need to rinse this. Hold on. I would cut. I'm still over here. This is how well we plan this. I plan this. My whole production team back there. Sorry, you just wasted 5 seconds of your life getting some water over here. There's other water there. This is how you rinse things. Here's the rinsing tutorial video. Pour water on top of it. Rinsed. So weighed that out, put that in. Bingo, bango, bongo. Let's get the scale out. We'll get more stuff out of the way as we go so you can see more things as we go. Okay, well, what's next? You got to have protein, because if you don't have protein, is it even a shake post-workout? So I have no affiliation with this brand whatsoever either. This is a goat whey. Yes, like they say in Meet the Parents, Meet the Fuckers, if it's got nipples, you can milk it. I've got nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? I don't know. But you can milk goats, and you can make whey protein from them. So I do about 50 grams whey protein from the goats. Someone's going to say, why the goats? Because my tum-tum hurts when I do whey. And that's kind of a joke, but also serious. I probably consumed whey protein for a decade straight at some point in time. And then kind of the last couple of years, ignored a whole bunch of symptoms that aren't great. What does tum-tum hurt means? Literally indigestion, literally be like farting on my wife for the next like 3 hours post-shake. Sometimes even having like borderline diarrhea. I know it's gross. We're having the poop talk, but it is what it is. So I use goat whey. I don't know the science. I don't care the science. I can ingest this and my tum-tum's just fine. So find a protein that works well for you, again, post-workout, but this is one, nothing magic about inflammation for this or anything. I just picked this one, again, because it doesn't upset my tum-tum. Then I put in some berries. So I got some raspberries. Lots of times I just do them for taste. And there's some fiber. I figure fiber is a good thing, so I'll get some more of that from a natural source. If you ever looked at the macros on raspberries, it doesn't make sense how much fiber's in there, how many carbs are in there, how much fiber's in there, and they taste good. So that's one of nature's little miracles. Thank you for those. These are the secret weapon. So this is the absolute recovery secret weapon. These are called lingonberries. Whenever I pronounce it in front of my wife, she says I pronounce it wrong. So maybe they're pronounced some other way. So if they're pronounced some other way, sorry. My wife won't watch this, so I don't have to apologize to her, but I apologize to you guys. It says these literally, I like these berries because they trash talk blueberries right on the label. 8 times more antioxidants than blueberries. Oh, in your face, blueberries. You should be embarrassed. So again, honestly, like people get mad. Like someone probably has called this a superfood. And I like that the evidence-based community will now make fun of people that say superfood. Don't call it a superfood. Superfood's whatever. Well, on a scale of Twinkie to this, like a Twinkie's pretty bad. Like that's a turd food, right? It's not really good for you. Obviously you can have it and be fine. One of them, but you ate Twinkies all day long. That was your only form of macros. Probably not good. So compared to a Twinkie, I think super is a pretty good adjective. I think these are pretty super. I don't know. You can research these. Again, I have no affiliation with this brand, Northwest Wild Foods. You can get these mailed to your house. Kind of expensive. But I like to rotate the berries that I put in here. And I like to find cool berries like this that trash talk other berries, because it makes me feel better about my berries. Like I look down when I go to the grocery store now and I see blueberries, I just go like this. And it makes me feel better about myself. So basically like social media works, except I do it in the grocery store with berries. I don't really measure these. I put in what looks like a healthy amount. Like so right there looks almost healthy. And then I put some more in, pretty much healthy. And yeah, now we're all the way there. I think we're healthy. So that's that. I put in some glutamine. I've done this for a long time. Glutamine, of all the things I put in this, glutamine more to do with gut health, so indirectly helpful for recovery than it does to actually have like recovery. People like to say it's the meathead one where it's like the most abundant amino acid in skeletal tissue. I don't even know if that's true. I've just been repeating that since I was 15 years old and heard it for the first time when I read it on the bottle of some Muscle Tech product that they sold me for like $70 back in 1998 because we didn't know any better. But I do put it in there for no other reason. I think it is probably good for gut health. And I just this is the time I don't forget to take it. If there's one thing you're going to leave out of here, if you want to emulate this shake, probably that's the thing you can leave out the most. And this is how I do my shake. So again, hopefully there's no mysteries there. So it's for my post-workout recovery thing. It meets the goals of I want some carbs and I want some protein. So I've got them. And in the process, I've put a whole bunch of stuff in there that's good for reducing inflammation, will probably help with recovery and just overall me reducing inflammation all the time because of pericarditis. That's the thing that I'm worried about right now. So somebody's going to say, but there's research that shows if you reduce inflammation post-workout, you're going to blunt the hypertrophy process and blah, blah. I'm very, very familiar. I'm not very, very familiar. Let me take that back. I'm familiar with that. I don't think there's any actual compelling evidence that shows one that could occur with whole foods, that it actually has led to a decrease in muscle. This is one of those like mechanistic things where we say, well, because this is the mechanism and you need inflammation for the hypertrophy process, if you blunt it at all, hypertrophy is not going to happen as much. I don't think there's any compelling evidence that it actually does limit actual pounds of muscle you're putting on comparing one to the other. If it could probably occur, maybe it's with like these super physiological amounts. Like if you like taking 10 grams of vitamin C a day or something, maybe don't take 10 grams of vitamin C all post-workout. So if my little thing on that has always been, I don't feel like argument, do what you want to do. If you're going to take vitamin C, things that are vitamins, super physiological amounts that reduce inflammation, maybe just take them away from your workout, because why not just take them morning and night, and then don't put a ton of stuff in post-workout. And I wouldn't worry about food. I don't worry about whole foods, so I don't think you need to worry about it either. But if you want to, then don't put this in your post-workout shake because you're going to lose all your gains. I think most people would actually have much better recovery overall and would actually probably progress faster putting some more ingredients like this in there. I put these here as well too because this is relatively low carb to where I've been at before when I've been bulking. So if I ever really wanted to bulk more and was going to eat like 150 grams of carbs or something like that, I will add in some supplemental stuff that tastes good. So you could just, put oatmeal in here or something like that. Like obviously a lot of people have done that. Just blend it up and obviously hit 150 grams of carbs like that, or use some other carb in there. But I like to eat something tasty sometimes. So I always say, same thing, find something that's easy for you to eat large amounts of that's good on your tum-tum. I have no affiliation with this brand, but it's Nature's Path. I don't think I have a gluten intolerance, but they have a lot of nice gluten-free ones. And I found where If I eat like 100 plus grams of carbs from wheat, I tend to get an upset stomach. So if I eat gluten-free stuff, where it's the carbs are coming mainly, again, I don't even think it's the gluten, it might be the wheat, where if I'm eating 100 plus grams of carbs from something that's maybe rice-based or something, my stomach tends to do a lot better. So that's why I like this brand. One, I think it tastes really, really good because it's delicious, and rhinos are jacked, so who wouldn't want rhino rolls? But also I've eaten at times when I've been bulking 100, 150, 200 grams of carbs from these cereals. Easy to eat, tastes really good, and doesn't upset my tum-tum. So what's some of the stuff that can help you guys? So some things that I've said before, and I was kind of touching on, is most people could probably benefit from reducing their inflammation a little bit more post-workout or just overall. So I think in general, again, I feel comfortable saying this shake is good for you. It's healthy. I know those words you even got to be tricky about in the industry these days. For some reason, the evidence-based community will jump on me for that type of stuff. It's healthier than a Twinkie. So if I put all Twinkies in here with my whey protein, this is healthier. I'm pretty comfortable saying that. So what are some of the things that I want to talk about as well, too, tying in with that are mistakes that I've made, and that hopefully you guys can help and learn from the mistakes. This is my cheat sheet. I'm not actually texting my mom right now, but some mistakes I've made in the past. Too much protein post-workout. There's been points in time where I honestly felt like, and again, I'm not too concerned about this absorption cap thing, but I'm more concerned about an upset stomach thing, where I was trying to do like 100 grams of protein post-workout because I just figured, at one point in time, I literally felt like eating 500 grams a day of protein was a good idea. So I was going to eat 100 grams post-workout. And if it upsets your stomach, it's probably not a good thing. Being too concerned, again, for too many carbs. Sometimes some of the protocols you read about how people do, this is a separate conversation, but a bajillion grams of carbs intra-workout, 200, 300 grams of carbs post-workout. Sometimes there's super physiological amounts of hormones involved in that a normal person not taking those things would probably not benefit from. So I've done times where I didn't know that, and I was like, oh, so-and-so eats 200 or 300 grams of carbs post-workout to be super anabolic and insulin spike and whatever. And that can, honestly, if it's still in your macro goals, whatever, but can upset your stomach and also can just make you fat if your macros are just way too high. I've also made the mistake of, magic proteins or magic carbs, where again, there's all these carb powders that you can do post-workout that, yes, are great. There's all these protein powders you can do post-workout that, yes, are great. But if it's going to be to the point where it's just super duper expensive and there's no real stomach benefits to it, then there's nothing super magic about them over just normal things. So find a whey protein, find normal whole food carbs, keep stuff that's cheaper, doesn't upset your stomach, doesn't cause a whole lot of inflammation, and that's going to be great. The other mistake I've made is not listening to my stomach enough. So there's been times where my stomach was getting messed up, was getting rocked, and I just continued to do the same things over and over and over, ignoring the fact that I was getting these crazy symptoms and digestive stuff. So adjust things. You don't want to have GI distress post-workout. You want your shake to be something that's very easy digesting, very low stress on the GI. And last thing too is the idea of food was magic or post-workout was magic. There were literally times when I first started working, I used to work out at Bally's, where I would pay like $8 for a post-workout shake the instant that I was done training, because one, I thought the anabolic window was a thing. It's not. But I also felt like I had to have a shake because shakes were better than whole food. And in reality, they're not, unless they're super convenient. So there were a whole lot of times where I got on the thing, oh, shakes aren't better, whole food's better. And then there were times where I would have to take an hour to eat a meal where I could have just slammed a shake. So both sides of that. Whole food's not magic. Shakes aren't magic. Shakes, the best thing that they have is going to be convenience. So absolutely have a shake if it's convenient. It's an easy way to get a meal in, but there's nothing magic about shake. There's nothing really magic about whole food. I think a nice balance of both can be a very good thing. So hopefully this video helped you guys. Hopefully you like my super anabolic shake. I'm going to put some water in this. You guys want to see? Here's water. I pour it in, and I'm going to end this video with loud blending. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, hit me down below. If you guys do that thing. If you didn't already, like, subscribe. Take 8 seconds of your life. Like, subscribe, share with somebody else. And again, I think hopefully I'm going to try and put a lot of good information out. There's a lot of mess out there. There's a lot of not great stuff out there. So hopefully trying to have some real practical, personal experience, professional experience, giving you a scope from where I'm at, where I've been, and mistakes that I've made to help you guys have better results, better gains. And that's that. Until next time, guys, peace out. Gonna work? This is anticlimactic. No, I got it. There we go. Oh, and someone's gonna ask, when you're done, you take the lid off and you put it in your mouth. I'll do a separate shake drinking tutorial later in another video. All right, bye-bye now.